can't believe I'm here again.
Joe, stop.
What?
We're all here for you, okay? We want to try and help you. All right? Okay, let's go. Come on. Okay, come take a seat.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Glad you turned up. Okay, as the headmaster, I'm about to start this meeting. This is Joe's review. Mr. Davis, what do you have to say about this?
As Joe's form teacher, I've had many problems with Joe over the last 2 terms.
We had a couple of voices there. So if we can have both 2 people, I think I heard come down here. Can we invite them down? Give them a round of applause. Come and stand up this side for me. Come and stand up this side. Stand up this side. So at the moment, we've got 3 ideas from the audience members on how they feel that they could change this scene. This scene is problematic for them. It's got some issues in it that they're not happy about, and so they've got some ideas on what they feel that they could do if they were in this scene. So we're going to look at each person's intervention and talk about it, what we thought about it, what we feel about it, what we think if it made any progress. Because we're all here to learn, and we want Joe not to end up in the situation that has already arrived. So who would like to go first? Okay, so who would you like to take over, and where would you like to go from? From the very beginning, or?
Just before where we said problems.
Just before where it said problems, okay? And you're playing the... Okay. So you're out and the new teacher is in. Sorry. Yeah, so you're playing the teacher, yes? Okay. Should we count them in? 1, 2, 3, action!
Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, Ms. Davis, would you like to carry on? There's obviously Joe's parents here, etc. So can you just tell us what the problem is?
Okay. As Joe's school teacher.
Reject.
As his school teacher, I would like to say that whilst Joe is in class, there have been numerous problems with regards to his behaviour. Specifically, Joe calling out.
But you can't even pronounce my name properly.
Okay. So this particular attitude,
what attitude?
with regards to your name.
Okay, you have to wait, madam. You have to wait. Carry on.
Come on, then. Why don't you say my name now? Say my name. You've had me for 3 years. Say my name now.
Right, I'm going to apologise.
No, that's too late. 3 years. You've been calling me the wrong. What?
That's the problem. Sorry. Okay, can I just address the fact that I have to teach over 200 students? There are times when I will actually get your name wrong.
Well, every single week. Come on, you're taking a piss now, aren't you? What?
Joe.
This every week the same thing happens.
Joe, calm down, love.
Don't tell me to calm down, man.
Freeze! Is he making progress? No! Okay, give us time. Thank you very much. Give me a round of applause. Okay, who's next? Okay, so the way that this works, rather than tell the audience what you're going to do, we want to see what you're going to do. So who wants to go next? You're playing the teacher? Playing Joe? Okay, you're going to play Joe. Let's count them in. 1, 2, 3, action!
Good afternoon. I'm glad you all turned up. Joe's parents are here. Mr. Davis, you'd like to take over?
Okay.
Hello. I just feel like, as this meeting is about me, that I should perhaps introduce myself or be introduced to anybody around here, even if I do know you. Yeah, you might be very well aware of who you are, and I know some of you are teachers, but I feel this meeting is about me, so I should have the first word.
Well said, Joe. Well said.
Thank you. Because I feel that you're always doing this. You always hold meetings and you talk at me. You never let me introduce myself.
This is the problem with Joe. He's always interrupting the
Why are you such negative?
It's always about you, Joe.
Negative. always put your negative violin away and let's be positive.
Can we have others speak out time?
No.
Get your
It seems like you all have problems with each other, but you're not listening to what my issues are, my problems are. You have the problems with each other, it seems like. Maybe like your ego's getting it and your professionalism. And my issues are at the centre of this, not all your problems with each other.
We're not invited
That's how it feels.
We're not invited here to
Every time I step in a room with professionals or adults, I always feel that it's your professionalism and your ego that think that you're not listening to me. You're not listening to me. You're telling me not to worry. You keep on
Okay. Now, what's your name, darling?
Joe.
Joe, how was that?
I felt that was really hard work for Joe. To be honest, my name is Yawande, but that was really hard work for Joe because you all weren't taking into consideration. He's right at the end. He should be in the middle because it's about him. He should be in the centre. He should be making some of his own choices. You should be allowing him to.
So, Joe, what might be the consequences of this Joe asserting himself in this meeting in that way?
Well, they're going to label him. They've labelled him anyway.
Is there anything that can turn or ruin or spoil that label so he doesn't get that label with Joe's behaviour?
Is there anything that we could do to stop
Joe
him?
could do?
Joe could do. I think, no, there isn't much that Joe can do because the professionals have come in, they've got their caps on already, they've made their mind up about him. There isn't that much you can do if people aren't really listening to him, if they're not being authentic. So it doesn't just depend on Joe, it depends on the individuals who are around the table. And the stereotypes they've already got, even people that look like him can be very stereotypical in certain ways as well. So it depends on who.
Where do you want to go from? Okay, so what's your name? Jamila's going to play Mum. And do you want to go from the top of the scene?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, actually, just before.
Just before? Yeah? Okay, so just to start at the beginning, just to be clear, everyone knows where we are. Okay, let's count them in. 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Mum and Dad. We're having Joe's review today. This is Mr. Davies, the teacher. We have a youth worker and a social worker here. And Mr. Davies, would you like to start with your...
Actually, before you start, yes. I think you should sit here and Joe should sit with us. Come, Joe. So if you swap seats...
Come around here running the meeting already. You coming around running the meeting already. We got invited to this meeting.
Of course. My name is Mum. Mama.
That's
this
fine.
we have to be unified.
Okay, can we carry on with the meeting, please?
Mum was saying that we have to be unified.
Excuse me. We are going to get on with the meeting, but first and foremost, let's reintroduce ourselves in the right way.
Well, Mrs. Abungu,
Well, what's the right way?
We should try Joe's mum's idea.
Sorry, I didn't get your name. And who you are.
I'm Joe's youth worker. My name is Mr. Thomas.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Henry, I'm the headmaster.
They know who I am.
Does he know the black woman look? Who are you?
I'm Joe's father.
What's your name?
My name is Mr. Abula.
I'm Jamila Abula.
I'm Joe Abula.
Thank you, son.
I'm Joe's mentor, Mr. Levin.
my name is Mr. Davies. I'm Joe's form teacher.
And I'm Leon, Joe's social worker.
Colonizer.
Right. I think for future reference going forward, we'll have this meeting, but I think it's quite intimidating to have so many people.
I'm afraid these people are all relevant to this
They are
case.
relevant, but we have to take it to stage to give a positive outcome.
It's about positive outcome, but we also require everyone's input, and then we have to be here to give that outcome.
Sorry, I was just explaining that this meeting is...
I said all these people are required to be here because we all have input, with regards to Joe's case. If they are not here, they cannot give their input. We don't have all day, every day to have these meetings.
You have to wait until this finishes, then you can have a chance.
We don't have all day, every day to have these meetings, so we do have to fit it in a short space of time, and we do require everyone to put their input.
We'll look at that format next time. Okay, continue on.
Okay, so my name's Mr. Davis. I tried to get in before, Mrs. Buller.
Oh my God, he can say our name.
Okay. So let's hear him out.
So the problem with Joe is that every lesson, the last 2 terms, he comes into the class, he's disruptive.
Can I just stop you there?
Yes,
What
ma'am.
is the meaning of disruptive? Give me an example of disruption.
Well, for instance, Mr. Bulu, yesterday morning in class, I was doing the register. I got his name wrong, mistakenly, and he threw a fit and stormed out of class, disrupted the whole class and stormed out.
3 years.
So, all right, so this is why you've called the meeting, because you find him disruptive and the fact that he stormed out. Did he actually storm out, or did you send him out?
It's not easy trying out. You know, we're rehearsing for real life, but out there is the real world. Yeah, here we can try out our ideas. How was that?
Yeah, it was good, but I think we need to be unified when we go into any meetings like this. Beforehand, prep your son, prep your husband, prep whoever is coming with you, so that when you go there as a force and you're united.
We're going to move on to the next scene after this. Yeah, we're going to move on because of time. We want to get progress into the scene. So we're going to do the next scene at house, at home. And again, if there's a moment in the play where you feel something could have been done or said differently that's going to bring a different outcome for Joe, we'd like you to shout stop or freeze, and we'll do the same process. So, let's begin. Joe coming home from school after the review. Let's count them in. 3, 2, 1, action!
You never ever stand up for me, do you? You never!
I just don't know what to say. You're not the kind of man I'm trying to raise. Look, you're a horrible example for your little brother.
What kind of man do you want him to be?
Well, I want to be a man.
The whole, what is a man? Define it. Oh my God, you've done it again. You've upset me.
Yo, cousin, I tell you about the man. Fix him up for morning. What kind of man are you? You're Rufus.
What are you talking about?
And the boy I hear voices. Come on, fix him up, man.
No,
why give it 2 o'clock for morning? And that me tell you.
Okay, thank you. We heard a stop. Uncle Errol, that's come up. Can we give Uncle Errol a round of applause?
So, I wanted to say stop just before the kid went off the stage.
Right. Okay.
So can I take it from
Of
there?
course you can.
Okay.
So we're just going to bring the young son back on stage.
Oh shit, who am I replacing? Who's your dad? It's dad. Dad, can I replace dad?
Of course you can. Let's count Uncle Errol in. 3, 2, 1, action!
You never stand up to me. You never ever stand up for me.
I'm talking to you, Dad.
I'm talking to you, Dad.
Listen, I'm trying my best to stand up for you, yeah? But every time I stand up for you, it's like you're attacking me. It's like you turn me into the enemy, you know? And I love you, and I'm just trying to look after you.
But then why do you say that when you're in the office then?
Well, look,
why do you sit there?
You see, because I'm not sure how to deal with this, you know what I mean? I've read the odd article in the magazine, but I'm not
I'm
professional
not
in
asking
this area,
you
so
to
I'm
read
doing
the
my best.
magazine. I'm asking you to read me. I'm asking you to talk to me. I'm asking you to have a conversation.
Son, that's exactly what I'm trying to do, but I also have to think of your younger brother. Look how stressed he is, you know what I mean? He's just getting upset and all the rest of it. I want a bit...
Hey, cousin, let me tell you something, cousin.
What?
Why you know the boy talk to you like that? Don't take off your better give him 2 clap, man. What's wrong with you?
See,
I beat you, man. No, Billy, you is a Rufus. You is a Rufus. Remember that. All right, 3, 2, 1.
progress?
I didn't get to the part I wanted.
Sorry,
I
Errol.
just
I'm sorry. Give a round of applause. Thank you, Errol. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It is difficult here. It is difficult. Yes. Someone else got a different idea. Come on, come on. Come on. Now, like I said earlier, it is quite hard to be up here and try out real life interventions. Yes. Now, where would you like to go from and who would you like to play, Judy?
Joe's dad.
You want to be Joe's dad? Okay, where would you like the scene to start from? Would it be easy to start at the beginning or when Joe's dad says something? Don't tell us what you're going to do. We want to see it. So we should start from the beginning. Yeah? Well, where would you like to start from? Okay, if you start from the beginning, you can start to say what you feel at the time. Yeah? So let's count the scene in. Remember, 1, 2, 3, action!
Dad, you never ever support me. You never do. That's a typical example.
Joe, I'm really sorry, but can you take this conversation away from everybody else and let me and you have a one-to-one?
Oh, I want to
spend some time together. Fathers have high expectations of their son all the time, but they don't interact with them on a one-to-one. So, if you're always jumping on your child and you don't communicate with your child, they're always going to have their back up. And then they have to be able to come to you and talk to you, not they will find somebody else outside to be able to talk to you. So, especially male children, because I have a son, right? So I made sure that he was able to come to me. He should be, a male child should be able to go to their father.
Yes.
If they don't have a father, they should have an uncle, or if you've got a male friend that stands up, that's you've got to have somebody that's an example for your child. So if daddy's not there, find an uncle, find a grandfather, find somebody, because there's too many people. Sorry.
And if there's not those people around, can you do that?
I've done it with the help of other people. I've done it. I'm really proud of myself. But you have to communicate.
Yes.
Sorry.
That's all right. Victoria, thank you very much. Okay. Does anybody have a different idea for this scene, or should we move on? Hi there. How are you? Good. Where would you like to try this scene from? We can't change the whole thing, but you can have an idea of what you could do to change the outcome so that Joe doesn't end up the way that we saw him.
Doesn't end up the way that
the play ended.
Okay. Do I have to tell you?
No. Ideally, I think we want to be entertained. So we want to see the idea that you have, like the previous lovely people have done when they come up on stage. It's not easy, but we can help you.
Okay.
Do you need some time to think?
No. I was Joe. Is it Joe or Joe? Joe. Joe.
This is going to be fun. Do you have an idea to play Joe?
Yes.
In this scene?
Yes.
Okay, so should we take it from the beginning and you can be Joe?
Take it from the beginning, from the beginning.
So let's take it from the beginning and let's count her in.
Okay.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, action!
Big brother.
I just don't know what to do with you, Joe. What? Me? After that meeting? Storming out of the room?
What? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about you. I'm not ready. You're not turning into the adult I want you to be.
The who?
The adult.
And what kind of Joe
How dare you? You take me to church every Sunday.
Joe, just calm down. What kind of Joe do you want? What is your definition of a man?
Definition of a man.
Well, what? You got something to say about it then?
Definition of a man.
You're not listening, are you, Joe? You're not listening, are you? You can't let them talk to you like that, you know.
I hear voices. I hear voices. Biggie.
I know about the voices. I know about the voices.
He wants to know.
Okay.
I feel good.
Joe, how we want to know how you got on in that scene with your family.
I didn't get on anywhere because they didn't listen to me.
You didn't get on anywhere because they didn't listen to you.
They did not listen to me. They're busy chatting to each other, not listening to me.
Give Joe a round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay.
Tupac is alive. Tupac is alive. Tupac. Bob Marley's alive too. Bob Marley's alive too.
Let's give her a round of applause. Thank you very much. Okay, we're moving on, and now Joe is an adult, and he is at the next scene where Joe is an adult. It's all right, she can stay there. It's all right. It's okay, madam. It's all right. It's all right, just let her stay there. Okay, so the next scene, Joe is at work as an adult. Yes. His first experience at being at work. And we want to change the outcome of how he was dealt with at work. So we're going to rewind the work scene. And again, if you think there's a moment in the scene where Joe could say or do something that brings a different outcome for Joe, we welcome it. So, are we ready to start the work scene? Okay, everybody on? The work scene? Let's count them in. 3, 2, 1, action! Okay, stop. Can we give her a round of applause? She has an idea. Hi, what's your name? Nice to meet you. And where would you like to go from and who would you like to play?
Any of you.
Okay, let's count her in. 3, 2, 1, How was that?
It was good. That's what we all supposed to do. Like, sometimes to fit in society, we just follow what they say because we don't question to ourselves why we do this. We just follow. Whether if you think something and you fight for it and we unify, we can change things. So this is just an example.
This is absolutely wonderful, but we know the real life out there. Can I just ask you, what might be the consequences of someone doing this in the workplace? Okay, hang on. So if you're saying that the consequences that these people in this office will all get fired and a new set come in and take over, is it worth the risk? Yes. Hands up to those who would do such a thing in the workplace. Now, let's be real here. To risk your own job, your payments, money that you need, hands up if you'd be willing to take a risk. That's quite a lot. Can we give a round of applause for these people who will take that risk? It's not easy. It's not easy. Okay, let's go take the questions to the back. Quiet, please. I'll take questions here. Quiet, please. We've got 3 questions I want to take before we move on. Yeah. Yeah. So would that add anything to Joe's emotional health if he got sacked?
No. Can I just say something very quickly? So if you think about all the changes that have been made in our world, it has been not always, the process has not been easy. Yeah? So many people lose many things. But change has been done. Like any single change has been done. It's true, I understand that in a real world, especially in London, the society, consumerism, etc., is really hard. But if we all do strikes, what is going to do the boss? He will not pay us, but he will not get his money either. So.
I'll just take this lady here. And yeah, thank you very much. Can we give her a round of applause? Okay, I'll just take some questions. So we've got here.
Where it goes from that time. But also, let's get away from being fearful of leaving jobs where people make the money, where people that create the work will do the work. So actually, you have more options. It's about you seeing your options. It's about you waking up and saying, actually, I've got a choice today. Do I want to work in a shop that's paying a minimum wage and I'm not really happy, or do I want to go this? And how do I do that?
Okay, thank you. And
I'm saying something similar to this, but also, you know, like they can't. people don't sack the whole workforce. If they do that, they do it, you know what I mean? It's very expensive to sack a whole workforce and then get everyone in. It'd be cheaper for them to find out what the problem is. And then if everybody says, oh, you know what I mean, there's this guy, maybe they'll look at him. If everybody's not working or everybody's doing something a bit wonky rather than working, then the management are going to say, right, what is the problem? And then, I don't know, maybe they'll look at Joe. Then again, maybe they'll sack Joe.
Okay, I'll take some other lady at the back and then one more over there and we're going to move on. Okay, yes, ma'am. So, I mean, we don't know, well, Joe, what kind of workplace are you actually working for?
Well, this is a small workplace, not a big company which you also envisioned. It's a small workplace. So it could be a restaurant or something small like that, where it's easy to dispose of anybody because there's always new people coming on board. So you're right about you have choices, but the thing is that the thing is that at the end of the day, if there's only one boss to deal with and he's dealing with 4 people, he can get rid of those 4 people anyhow he wants. That's reality. So, but you're assuming that it's a big company like McDonald's, but it's not.
NHS.
In any workforce, there should be procedures everywhere.
There should be, but the reality is that in most of this doesn't always exist. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, the more questions we ask now, we won't get to do the other scene. So we have to just judge with time and we need to be out just after 8. Sean.
I would like to highlight, I think it's important, it's not just the aspect of Joe within the work setting, and he does have protected characteristics that lady rightly said, but this is the question I think that bears upon us as individuals within our workplace. When we have actually witnessed people who have maybe demonstrating odd behaviour that they weren't doing before, how we respond to them, how would we go to our colleagues and say, like, I think there's something wrong with Joe. You know, should we come together and we wrap our arms around him? Because a lot of people some people want to step forward, but they do feel fearful they'll be isolated or they'll be discriminated against because of Joe. But that is still another unlawful act. Once you support him and wrap your arms around him, then more voices would actually create better situations for all at work. And that company might change to be an actual better company because he becomes more aware.
Sure.
So we're going to move on, and we're going to move on to the friends scene, where Joe is at home with some friends, and his uncle turns up to try to take control of the house situation. Because Joe has come home, he's probably had a bad day at work, and he's got his friends around for emotional support. And in the end, the uncle turns up. So let's see Joe at home with some friends. Let's count them in. 3, 2, 1, action! Yes, Joe, one word. Yeah. You're cool?
Hey, Joe. Mercy, you can't left you, man. And you lose the job.
How do you know about that?
I know everything, man. Everything's good, man.
Broadcasting, I'll answer to you, man. How you doing?
Boy, change that topic. How you keeping, bro?
Yeah, I'm alright, I'm good. Yeah.
Thinking well, how's it okay?
I'm okay.
What's that? Nah, man, you don't need that. You don't need that at all, man.
You don't know what I need. You don't know what I need.
Bro, right now,
I know
that neither of us need that. How about
you
that?
don't know what I need, right?
Ding dong.
Sorry, hold on, sorry, freeze. Did you have an idea?
Yes.
Okay, what's your name?
Tate.
Come and stand up, Tate. So, who would you like to play, Tate?
The father.
The father, okay. Uncle, come on, and Uncle, you can take a seat, and we've got Tate.
Uncle's here, come on.
Oh, he hasn't come in yet.
Uncle's about to come in, so he's about to come in.
There's more than one.
Okay.
If it's a fridge, you can come in.
You okay, Tate? Yeah? So let's count Tate in 3, 2, 1, action!
Ding dong. So listen, I know you say I don't know anything.
You don't know what I mean.
Ding dong. The door. Ding dong.
Wait, I hear you that I've heard that you've been smoking. You know this is bad for your health, right?
Joe, come, man.
Hold down your voice.
Joe,
respect. These people are not going to be.
What's this going to do to you? I've got my future. I'm your future. That doesn't even make sense. That doesn't make sense.
Hey, cuss it up. When you they can be very damaging to you, and it's not going to
listen.
Listen to what he's saying.
Thank you, Uncle. You're saying exactly what I've been saying.
Listen, shut up.
Take the thing out of
Listen, just listen to Uncle.
No, I don't need to listen to anybody, right?
Give me that. If you're not getting no more. Give it to me. Hey, stop it, man. Stop it. Have some respect.
These are my friends. These are my friends. I need them right now.
They're their friends. You're their friends now. But what happens in your future?
I don't want to hear you nonsense, man.
He's not right. No, he's right. Listen to what he's saying.
He's right, he's your elder. Listen to what he's saying. He's right what he's saying, Joe.
No, I don't need to listen to you.
Do you know how lucky you are to have an uncle like this? An uncle who comes around and actually visits you and checks on your health and your well-being.
How was that, Tate?
Oh, that was good.
Yeah? You made an impact. You made an impact on Joe.
You did. You did, yeah.
Yes.
And on some of the friends too.
Yeah. You know what it was? It came from your heart. It came from that. It's very powerful. So I had to listen.
Just take another round of applause. So we're going to continue with this scene because other people have got different ideas. There's many ways to solve a problem these days, and I'm sure you've all got some wonderful ideas. It'd be good to have one more person try out a different idea that may be able to help Joe. Let's continue with the scene. And action!
Yeah, Joe, man. We're there. Oh, yeah, man. You're right, Joe, man.
Ding dong! Okay. We've got a freeze already. Miles. Can we give Miles a round of applause? How you doing, Miles? You good? Good. So who would you like to play and where do you want to go from?
I'll start from the beginning and I'll play the best friend.
Okay, great. Fantastic. The best friend. Okay.
That one.
Okay, so you can take the position. And let's count them in. 3, 2, 1, action!
Oh, man.
Hey, Joe, man. Hey, Joe, you say you guys left you, man. And you lose your job, man. What happened to you?
You have to broadcast that, don't you?
We know everything, man. Don't worry about that, man. You know what? You say it's safe for me, man. It's safe, man.
I'm not safe.
Everything Chris Curry, man. Chuck, anyway, hold us split, man. Chuck. Ding dong.
Hey, Joe, how are you? What? How's that? I'm not too bad. I haven't seen you in a while. How's it going?
Joe's fine, man.
Ding dong.
No.
Sorry, someone at the door. Joe, answer the door.
Hey.
Joe!
Joe,
how are you doing?
I'm alright.
Hey, Joe, do you mind if I talk to you in the kitchen for a minute, please?
No, what's going on here, Joe?
I said, do you mind if I talk to you in the kitchen for a minute, mate?
What for?
Joe, what's going on here, Joe?
What for?
Joe, I can smell ganja.
Uncle, he's friend.
What are you doing?
What can he say right now? I need to talk. No, come on, what can he say right now? Right here.
Joe, is your father going to like this?
I'm trying to talk to this guy right here, so just back up for me, right? I'll check him out.
Yeah, man. You need to get these goons out of your house. Hey, we are bad, man. We are calm.
Okay. Everybody off. Everybody off stage. Off stage. This way. This is the kitchen. Sit down in the kitchen. Sit down down in the kitchen and let's see what happens.
What do you want to talk to me about?
How come you're smoking weed? How come you're smoking weed?
Because I want to.
But you never used to. Like,
so what? You know, I just pick up something new every day. So what?
No, it just gets me worried because normally when I see my friends like going towards weed, it usually means there's something going on in your life.
Let me tell you something, right? There's nothing going on in my life. I'm happy, okay? I'm just getting a little calm down moment. That's all it is, okay? Thanks. MC's cool, but I'm okay, man.
If you need to calm down, just talk to me because we've been through a lot. Remember, like, come on, man. I need you probably more than you need me. Do you remember how in primary school you protect me from those bullies?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
Because I've seen what happens at school, and I've seen people drop out of GCSEs when they start smoking weed, and you can't just stand aside. Usually it means that you're going through something, and if you're going
I am going through something right now.
Do you have any advice for this character before you leave? Now that you've managed to get through things, let's hear it.
So, where do I go from now? Where do I go? I mean,
how are you feeling? How have you been going the past few weeks?
Well, it's been fucking awful. It's been really bad. I mean, I lost my job, my woman left me. You know what I mean? There's just nothing left. I can't even speak to my dad. Freaking pain in the butt.
Listen. How old are you now? 18, right?
Yeah, so I mean, I know I've had a hard time, but you know what I mean? It's just that sometimes you need something to calm you down a little bit, and I think the weed does that, man. It does.
It's just the beginning of life. I mean, I've known people that have gone through times that are
yeah, but that's
younger.
them, man. They can handle it. I can't handle this shit anymore. I really can't handle this shit no more, man.
I'll tell you why you can't. Because you got an uncle that looks out for you, and you got me.
Oh, come on, man. Every time my uncle comes, he just starts shut in my face. I can't handle that shit, man. I really can't.
That's because he doesn't really know how to express his love, you see. Usually when people do that, it's because they're kind of frustrated themselves that they don't know, but they do. If they didn't care, he wouldn't be shouting. He just wouldn't say anything.
Yeah, but you know what? When he shouts, I hear my dad. That's the problem. When he shouts, I hear my dad. So every time I see him, I see my dad. That's the problem, man. That is the problem.
Because he's hurting as well. They both are. That's probably because he's hurting as well.
They're not hurting as much as I am hurting right now, okay? They were never there for me. Okay, my uncle was there for me, but he just shouts, man. That's what he just shout. He shouts that all the time. Can't turn to him. Can't.
But how about that? Would you like me to speak to him? Say like,
no, listen. I don't want. Listen. I really appreciate your help right now. I really do. But you know, this is something I need to deal on my own. I really do. I really do.
Trust me on this, Joe.
Bro, you say trust in this. You've not even been for where I've been for, right?
No, of course I haven't.
You haven't been as deep as I've been for, right? So I don't know what am I trusting you for, okay?
You're right.
I know you give me an ear right now, but this is something I need to deal with myself.
You're right, I haven't, but the truth is, as I said, I can't lose you, man. I honestly can't. I've lost friends before for various reasons, and you've been my longest friend, and I literally cannot afford you to go. So, okay, don't trust me, but just trust me on this. Is that without you there, it will be harder for me as well. So we can support each other, and I've got you. And I know that you can hear your dad with your uncle talks. I get that. I really do, because he probably can hear his dad too.
Wow. How was that for you?
You know what you want to say, but there's no real words or sentences you can put together to say it. You don't like keep talking, you hurt him more. I've had friends who they've disappeared off the radar, and you kind of think that like if there's more I could have done, and there usually is. But I think also when you're quite young as well, there's not a lot you can really give as well.
You can. By what you just showed, by giving support, by being here, it shows that no matter what age you are, you can give. And you have to just by giving that support.
to the next scene, which I do believe is when Joe goes out with his friends. We need to move on and see if we can change the outcome of what happened to Joe on the night out. And whilst you're waiting, you've got an evaluation form on your chairs. If you can fill in those in for us, that would be absolutely wonderful. Evaluation form on your chairs. Right, so we're going to go to the scene where Joe has gone out on a Friday night and he's with his friends and he's having a good time, but we all know good things don't last too long. Let's count them in. 3, 2, 1, action!
Do you get that number? You get it? Oh, you that, man, you that, yeah!
There's some smoke in there. Okay. Sorry, have a good night, though. Of course, mate. Yeah, man, it was alright.
Hey! What's that smoking, man? Joe!
Oh, fuck's sake, not you again.
Oh, come on, that's not the way to greet one of your oldest mates.
I don't care, man. I know what you're going to say and I don't want to hear it, alright?
Oh, man. Joe.
Okay, there's a stop. There's a stop. What's your name, brother? Nathaniel. Can we give Nathaniel a round of applause?
After you showed them the video,
and which character we want to play?
Oh, thanks, mate.
Okay, let's count them in. 3, 2, 1, action!
Are you that drunk?
You know what?
Joe, have a smoke, man. I'm good. What's wrong with you, Joe, man? You know, man. What's going on, man? Hey, you know what's found on Selassie? I grave in a rasta.
You know how I am. You lot are my friends. Wait.
You're weak, man.
You lot are my friends. You respect my decision.
Wait, hold on. Back off for a second. Back off. Joe, brother, I completely love what you just said. Hold on. Stop. Oi, back off. Calm down, man. Listen, I ain't seen you in 2 weeks, and for you to just come out and say that off your back.
Do you know what?
You know how proud that
I
makes me
should have
to
listened
hear.
to you from the beginning. I know certain things are good for me and certain
Good.
things are bad.
It's all a process. It's all a process.
You talking to me aggressive?
No, it's not.
What's your answer?
Now back can you fit a description of somebody that's
done anything.
Could you just back off?
What?
Stay back.
That ain't true.
You don't need that for
He hasn't done anything.
You lot remain calm.
You got RC1 with nappy hair. You got RC1. You got the cereal.
That's how police actually.
You smell the weed. Look, he's got drugs on him. Find the drugs.
Be easy with him. Joe, calm down. Calm down. Just be calm.
Get your hands down. Hands down.
You man, shut up! Just shut up for a second!
Listen to your mic.
Stop the hyping! You're not helping the situation!
Hey, you look, be calm! Hey, be calm! You just said copper raping! What's this hell he's talking about?
Hey, listen. He's got mental health questions. Is he
police
He's a friend of mine.
What issues has he got?
He's just got issues, man. He's seen someone in a minute.
Yeah,
he's been arrested by race.
Okay,
stay here for a second.
Okay, hang on a minute. Freeze. How's Joe doing? Hands up if you think Joe has changed the outcome and doing well. Hands up. Hands up if you disagree and think Joe's made it even worse. Hands up if you're not sure. This is Joe being arrested. If he changed the outcome,
He should have left that scene. He's gone in the yard.
Yeah,
you should have, no, before the word even came, you should have went, oh.
Joe, how was that? What did you try to do, Joe?
The first thing was just de-escalate the problem with my friends.
Yes.
From encouraging me on something which we all know is something that's going to be bad and turn out bad.
And how did that go for you?
It went well. There was a bit of laddish type of movement.
Puppet disorder.
And peer pressure.
Yes, peer pressure.
Peer pressure, but from when one of my best friends come in, and I was able to talk to him, then it was kind of de-escalating the situation.
Okay.
Because I was, rather than strong and wrong, I was strong and right.
Okay.
I was feeling as though, alright, do what you need to do to me, because I've done nothing wrong. I've not put myself in any bad situation, any illegal situation. And my friends, if anything, they were getting hyped, and they learned to stop being hyped. And the police officer misunderstood when I was saying I'm cooperating, before I was saying cooperating. So it's all about
He said cooperating.
For a young boy, a young black boy, that's always sometimes a bit difficult. I know myself to be in a situation where you want to kind of look cool, you want to go with the bravado, and you want to be making sure you're rapping. So there's a lot of peer pressure. So I think with all of the roles that we've taken, it's sometimes taken a bit of a mature thinking. And that's difficult for a young person. But if not for my friends, and my friends actually kind of looking and thinking, you know what, yeah, if I am his friend, then I'm not going to really go there. So, okay.
Good to see you. Round of applause. Well done. So, would you like to see any other scenes? Yeah. One more. Hands up if you want to see more scenes after this, or you've seen enough. Just hands up if you want to see some more. So I just want to get a gauge of what the audience wants. If you want to see more scenes happen after this, just put your hand up. So we've got probably about 10 people. So if you're undecided, put your hands up. Okay, so most people have seen enough. So what we would like to do now, we would like to invite some people that we've arranged to come up and be part of the panel. And we want to have a little bit of discussion about what you've experienced tonight in terms of what could be done to change. Now, we've got Rashid, we'd like to invite him up. We've got Patrick Vernon here, I'd like to invite him up. We've got Sister Jai up here, I'd like to invite her up. Steph, would you like to come up? Yeah, being representing Landlord Council and services. And essentially, we don't know how this is going to go, so we want to have a discussion about what you've seen tonight. Because essentially, what we would like as a group of older men, we were having a conversation in the week, and we were quite concerned that we thought that if we could, in a magic wand, have councillors here tonight, have MPs here tonight, have lawyers here tonight who know about this issue, and even have some activists who also know about this issue, that then maybe we could look at what existing laws already exist that affect what we've seen tonight, and is there a way that we may be able to make some recommendations, make some suggestions for what could be changed. But we need your help. So we've got some people here from the community. They're going to introduce themselves, and we're going to try to have a little bit of a discussion for the remaining 20-odd minutes. So, if you'd like to introduce yourselves, we can get this underway. Let's give them a round of applause, first of all.
Do I sit down? Do I stand? Alright, that's cool. First up, before anything, give thanks to the Creator for just making us survive another day in this crazy, crazy world. But it's very important that you acknowledge the organizer, Mr. Tony Seeley. Because the brother puts in a magnificent amount of work for very little reward. And so, anytime he calls me, I'm always there to make sure I back him up. But most importantly, give yourselves a beautiful round of applause for coming out of your house.
Thank you, Rashid.
My name is Rashid Nix. My title is Problem Solver. That's what I do.
Hi everyone, I'm Patrick Vernon. I've been involved in mental health policy services for a number of years. And what Tony's done tonight, and I've known Tony for a very long time, and he's used the concept about engaging the audience to try and change the system. And I've been involved in lots of stuff around mental health services, around the whole range of issues around our heritage, like she's done over the years. And what's quite clear tonight is acts of kindness, does that make a difference in the community? Yes. Sometimes we're very hard on ourselves because of the history of enslavement, modern day racism, discrimination. And when people are stuck in a situation around mental health, and people and the stigma around mental health, we still stigmatise people with those problems. And what was quite clear from Joe, and you're a fantastic actor, I don't know if it's something that you think about, but if you are, think about it seriously. When can we intervene around acts of kindness? That's the issue, that's the question for the community. Yeah, we can have better mental health services, counselling support, but if we're not doing stuff in the community around acts of kindness, then more of us will get stuck in the system.
Evening greetings. Evening greetings.
Sister.
I'm Sister Empress J, and I'd also like to salute Brother Tony, who always tackles these hard to deal with issues that we have in our community. We're not the only people facing this problem, but we're gathered together today as a village to look inside and see what our one and a fluid community and what role we are going to play. It's very easy to see the mocking and the jeering and the bullying. And all of us know a Joe. We either have a Joe in the family or in the neighborhood. True or false? True. So when we are going to vote it, how we are going to reach out and express a hand of kindness. And the other thing we need to talk about, I think, is this issue about silence, denial, and collusion. Because sometimes that comes up. And we know when it's applicable, but sometimes we lose our loved ones because of that same silence, denial, and collusion. So as a wellness person in the community, as someone that works in the criminal justice system for the last nearly 40 years, and have seen the outcomes of when we lose people in custody, etc., because we haven't intervened early enough to give that act of kindness and support to our brothers and sisters in need. Today we're focusing on the brothers. That could be our sons, our husbands, our fathers, whoever. We are focusing on the menfolk. But know that when you flip the script, the same thing I'm going with this history.
So my name is Steph Abra. I'm a public health specialist with Lambeth Council. And I've been working with Black Thrive, and I've been working on suicide prevention, which is one of the themes tonight, because we didn't deal with it at the end point, but that was one of the really sad outcomes of the play. And also mental health promotion, which is what this is about. And we are trying to support these conversations. I'm really grateful to Tony and the guys for such a great insight into how things can progress across your life and the cycle can become something that you can't escape from. So I suppose in public health we try and think about what are the areas, what are the points where you can intervene. And I can see a lot coming out of this play about intervening from very young age, with parents, with community, with services. There's a lot of work for us to do. And we know this is a big problem in Lambeth, so I'm here to listen.
Thank you, Steph. Steph, I understand that there are 2 black men a month are dying in Lambeth. Is that right? Correct?
We've got 2 men, 2 people.
Oh, 2 people.
2 people a month that die of suicide in Lambeth, and we don't know who they are in terms of their ethnicity, because on the death certificate your ethnicity is not recorded. So we don't know the diversity of, I don't know why it is, so country of birth is recorded, so we know, and when we look at the number of service users who die of suicide from our mental health services, we know that is a diverse group. So because I think suicide has often been thought of as a white person's issue, but it's not. It's now everybody's issue.
Excuse me. So when you say there's 2 people a month in Lambeth, how does that translate across the nation? How many people die every month across the nation? Do you know that?
I know that suicide is a really big problem in the world, but I also know that in Lambeth, actually, thankfully, we have one of the lowest suicide rates in England. So if you go up to the northeast and look at the white men who are dying in the northeast, they are choosing suicide as a way of dying. In Lambeth, we choose different ways of dying. Suicide is one of them. We have a lot of attempts.
Nice.
But there's lots of other ways that we die in Lambeth. Slow deaths rather than quick deaths.
Thank you. Can I add something? No, I live in Hackney and I was involved. Sorry, but there are certain high degrees of suicide. So, for example, about 5 or 6 years ago, there was a massive increase in suicide with Turkish men in East London, and then in Tower Hamlets in the 90s, there was a massive increase of Somali men taking suicide. So it seems to be a cyclical thing affecting the community. And I think there was a high degree of suicide within the black community, probably in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, but we didn't see it that way.
Yeah.
That's my honest opinion. But we are dying in other ways.
Does anyone here read anything written by a man called Dr. Amos Wilson? Yes. Dr. Amos, and this is where we've got to deal with context. We're talking about problem solving. If we look at the problem in little isolated points, we never solve the problem. It's like playing blind man's buff and everyone's grabbing the part of the elephant and trying to describe what it is. We need to take off the blindfold.
Who is Dr. Amos Wilson?
Dr. Amos Wilson was one of the great psychologists, one of the black psychologists to come out of the United States. And Dr. Amos Wilson said that for black people to be out of their minds, for us to be crazy, it is an economic and political necessity. Meaning the society that we live in is making sure that we are crazy. And the unfortunate reality is that in a place like Lambeth, where you have the highest rates of racial inequality, a lot of our problems will be stemming from the policies of the local council. So, for example, I do a lot of voluntary work, and I was in a secure unit down at the Maudsley Hospital. And a young man that I know from the mosque, a good brother, a solid brother, who used to go outside the mosque on a Friday. His mother took him out to make veg patty and beef patty, so that was his little hustle. He didn't have to shop weed, because he's on the halal life, because he's a Muslim brother. And I was in the secure unit, and the brother was in the secure unit. And I said, what are you doing there? He said, well, my mother died. That's the trauma. But then what happened was the council evicted the family from the home that they lived in. So the mother with the tenancy, she held the tenancy, and they evicted him. So he was a victim, not of anything that was mumbo-jumbo esoteric. He was a victim of council policy. He wasn't a mental health sufferer. The young man was depressed, he was traumatized, and how did they deal with him? They sectioned him. Then they medicated him. And I said, hold on a second, this isn't right here. This isn't right here. And just to conclude my point, I sit on the board of Mind, the mental health charity, and we've had a lot of issues down there. Where's all the Kindred Mind people in the house? Put your hands up. Yeah? All right, cool. We got to talk afterwards, okay? Right. I was talking to one of my trustees, and he's a white professional. He doesn't understand our community, so I've got to bring to him that cultural literacy that he doesn't quite understand. I've got to bring him into our world. to let him know, listen, we ain't crazy by design. It's by the system. And I said to him, if Boris Johnson was a black male, what are you laughing for? If Boris Johnson was a black male, I said to him, Boris Johnson would have been sectioned. Every single personality trait that that man displays will appear in the DSM, the manual of mental illness. It's all going to be in there. Everything's going to be in there. But because he's white, from a certain background, he's running for the Prime Minister. I said, now, we as black men, if we have dreams of wanting to do big things in this world, they say we're delusional. So the way the system is designed, we're held back. So we have to self-medicate to take away the pain. Which is why 75% of the black men on the wall that I'm on are there because of a drug-induced psychosis. It's a political necessity for us to be out of our minds. And once we realize that, then we can start to solve the problem. Everything else is just dancing around the issue. Is that cool?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go back and fetch it. Sankofa. Remember, we are people that have migrated. With that migration, what has happened to us? We've come out. We're unsettled. We're uprooted. We come here. The father, where Daddy there? Daddy was saying what? You're not the man I want you to be. Because a lot of the parents are trying to live their dreams through their children. And we need to understand that. They come here, the goal was, remember Tanya for 3 years and then we're gone. Maybe 5. That hasn't happened. And then that comes down on the children. Plus you're going to work and you're facing that pressure, that, you know, race isn't on the agenda, but it's an issue for you because you're the one that's feeling it. And all of these things are basically flooding down to the children. Look at the ones that are sentenced by association in that play, what we were watching there. Look at the younger brother. Before you know it, he'll be taking Joe's place. Yeah? Mommy, I try to communicate with Daddy. They're not having a one-to-one. They're battling about who are the king rooster and who are the next one along. So we need to look at this. In reality, we need to take a close look because these things add to the mental health pressures that our children face today. And it starts early. It starts with what they witness. It starts with that whole gender thing. Use a boy, let me put you in a blue. Use a girl, put you in a pink. And you man up. You have wife and man. You hear Rufus, where there? Where my dreadlocks brother there? In Ghana? Where there? You so bad. But there's one, no disrespect to the character, but every family have one. When I lick up the wife, when I'm rolling down, that don't help. So we need to talk to each other. When we hear other people struggling with their children, we're not for skin up and laugh. We for look on it like say we's part of the village and I feel we picked it up. Yeah?
So we've got 1, 2, and then 3 and 4. Okay, and 5. 5 people that want to speak.
Can I just say, I think it's free for everybody. I live in Abbott Grove and I've been in the mental health system since 2004. I've been diagnosed with bipolar. And one of the things I found is when I used to go into hospital and do the wards, I find that there are whole other sisters around me. And they're all saying the same things in terms of our spirituality and our identity and where we're going and what we're feeling and the energy and the vibrations. Just like how the sister came in today with some energy and vibrations. I used to find myself coming to Brixton all the time just so I could just get that energy and get that vibration and feel the ancestors. And I go to one thing about Brixton Library, which is good. There's a black organisation called Oreni, and it's for African Caribbean people and African people and Arab-speaking people to go there. And it's just pure black. We eat our own food. We do our own thing, and everything is done in the African spiritual way. And that is something that we need in most of these boroughs. The brother that runs that, Malcolm Phillips, he is absolutely amazing. And they tried to shut us down loads of times, but we've got something there called the a council, which is us service users, and they say crazy, but we have a council that we all sit down together. We have a spiritual leader, welfare officer, all of us who are supposed to be diagnosed with these things that they give us, and we all write letters to the councils, to the councillors. The councillors have to come to have meetings with us. We tell them, no, we're not going to shut down. They wanted to shut down the kitchen. They wanted to say how we're going to. They wanted to integrate us with Europeans. We said, no, that's not happening. We're staying black, we're staying African, and we've been there ever since. And it's been amazing. So I'm so glad you've done this today.
Already.
Can I just ask, what's happening with Black Mental Health UK? What are they doing? Can Patrick answer that, please?
Black Mental Health UK.
That's Matilda, isn't it? Matilda, I'm not quite sure what Matilda's up to these days, but obviously she was very active, campaigning, lobbying politicians, etc. So I'm not sure what she's doing of late. But what's quite clear is when we talk about issues around activism, and it's great that we've got a lot of people here tonight, and it's a tribute to yourselves and the organisers to participate. But the frustration I've always had over the years is there's no consistency in making organisations accountable, whether it's a local authority, whether it's NHS, or community organisations. And it's no, I mean, I know Roman and Malcolm very well, and the work they've been doing for many years, and what he's had to do to preserve that organisation. But in 2019, in Britain, there's probably less than 10 black-led organisations running mental health services in Britain today. And there's more of them outside London than in London. I'm a patron of a charity called ACCI. It's in Wolverhampton, my place of birth, so don't hold it against me. And that charity has been going for over 30 years. It has a day centre, it has a women's unit, it does advocacy work, and it's in the heart of the community in Wolverhampton. And the local authority, about a year ago, tried to decommission it, but they realised they couldn't touch it because it's embedded in the community. And what's happened is a lot of services are not embedded in the community. It's like Joe, like the Joe scenario. Joe over there is not respected, Joe's mad, Joe's crazy, so I'm not interested. And that's how we treat some of the services and some of the successful organisations over the years. That's why they've gone and withered away. I was appointed over 2 years ago. I was director of Black Thrive, and I was involved working with Jackie Dye and others, and Steph and others. And Black Thrive is a partnership to try and create something in Lambeth. And there are other organisations that are trying to do stuff in Lambeth and across London. But it's a message to all of you. Yes, Rashid said there's an agenda there, and what we're going to do about it. We can do lots of stuff about it. We can do lots of stuff in terms of being active in the community, working with a whole range of partners, and doing our own stuff as well. I can see people in this audience who have been doing stuff for years around community, around alternative therapy, around African psychology, but we need to create more energy and create more resources and take more responsibility in terms of what we're going to do. So we've got a lot of work to do because in terms of the overrepresentation, it's self-evident, it's been like that in SLAM, in all mental health trusts, not just in London, but in Manchester, in Birmingham. If you go into a medium secure unit, and I know she's volunteered and works a lot of work there. If you go to any medium secure unit in Britain, particularly where there's a black population, 90% of the patients on those wards are black and under 30. Why is that? There's a prison pipeline, school pipelines happening, and we need to stop that pipeline. And we have to take responsibility. Yes, we can't blame the system, but we have to take responsibility ourselves. Yeah?
I'm just going to jump in at this point and speak on behalf of the actors who you all saw today who gave a performance. Can I just ask you to give an applause for all of us? One of the questions which you might be wondering is how have we all come together? Do we know each other previous to this? So about a month ago, a call went out, sort of advertising, saying, look, there's going to be a project. It's going to be about black mental health. There's a call out for men between 30 and 60 to come together. Let's put together a production. So like essentially everyone who you've seen on stage today, we're all strangers. Like everyone who I've worked with, I didn't know previous to this. And how it all began was we came in, Tony brought us together. we bonded, we played games. It was fun. We had a laugh. We were allowed to be like vulnerable amongst each other as well. And it was different because if you've got an idea of how black men are often perceived, they're not allowed to come across as anything other than powerful and solid. They're not meant to express any emotion. When they do so, they're considered as weak. And this is a label which has actually been sort of like placed upon us, not from within ourselves, whether that's from expectations of society. And you can see how that can begin from quite young. And what we wanted to kind of capture in our play was to show how early influences from being a child, Joe in a classroom, how these things ate away at his self-esteem and his self-pride, and how his family structure might not be aware of the ways in which they were perpetuating this cycle which they had suffered from in different ways themselves. So what my advice would be in terms of how us as a community can actually start helping ourselves first is to do is what you're doing today. Come out, be aware that mental health operates on a spectrum. When you hear mental health, you often think it's negative, but you're gonna have good days, you're gonna have bad days. It's about speaking to people as well. Asking people how they're doing. Be in that air sometimes when someone's going through experiences. Also, we're going to use this opportunity to hand Tony something. Us men, we wanted to present you a shirt which we all signed. So if you could come
Can I just say, this guy does not drink, so we couldn't get alcohol. He doesn't support a football team, so we can get a trophy. Okay.
Oh, wow. Your evaluation forms, that's really going to help us. We're kind of running out of time. I know some people wanted to mention 1 or 2 questions, but we really have to be out of here in the next sort of 10 minutes max. So can we just try to just
start tidying up until?
Yeah. Sister, you wanted to have asked a question, please. I'm going to allow you to say something.
Guys, just freeze for a second. I think there's 1 or 2 more questions or comments.
So it was just to ask the panel on their thoughts for the UN International Decade for People of African Descent, Afrophobia and white privilege, and how that relates to African and African Caribbean mental health.
Can I go first? Alright. Just a quick one.
That's going to be a quick question.
Quick answer. I mean, it's a brilliant question. Last night, I discussed with a friend of mine about race and racism. How many races are there? There's one race. As humans, we share a 99.9% DNA match. That's between all the different families on the planet Earth. Race is an artificial construct, which means that we're getting divided and broken down over a 0.1% difference. The people who created racism, that's an illness. That's a mental illness. Yes. However, a group of black psychologists wanted to have racism recognized as a mental illness. The American Psychiatry Association rejected their application and said because racism is normal in the society, racism is not a mental illness. Therefore, we suffer from their mental illness. So Afrophobia, and a phobia is a mental illness, is the correct term. And we should do as much as we can to make sure that we aim our liberation forward. It's our time, it's our decade.
Okay, we've got one here, and this is a gentleman over over there has been waiting, so we'll take the last two kind of questions, because we're really running out of time and we have to be out of here.
Yeah, it's not a question, I just wanted to share with you that Joe, I have a brother like Joe, the family has suffered or supported. I'm in the process of writing up the MP, tell her all the story about the diagnosis. When he's depressed, the diagnosis is schizophrenia, shove them into the hospital and leave them there. They don't let them out because they're afraid that if they do have schizophrenia or if they are dangerous, then they may hurt somebody, so they keep them in there. They have no family because the family is stigmatized and they're embarrassed and ashamed, and they have no friends. They lose their friends because they're in there for so many years, so that when they do come out, they put them on red light districts, drug districts, and then their only friends they have are these kind of people, like what you saw there. We're supporting my brother, but it's about all of us writing off to our piece to tell them how the story goes, how they're diagnosed with schizophrenia when they're just depressed. He lost his best friend, and that's how he ended up in there for over 5 years. And then he had to sue them, and he won, right? That's because he had his family behind him. The most important thing that I want to share with you is that my son was labelled, well, say labelled, OCD. He got thrown out of college, right? This is important. He got thrown out of college, but all through his growing up, I knew that he was different. There was something about my son, but as a parent, I'm a single parent, I couldn't put my finger on it. And when I was asking for help, they were saying, it's just going through teenage years, you know. But it was so difficult as a parent. I was almost on his breakdown myself. I didn't know what it was. I stuck by my son. That's what a lot of parents, like the father, wasn't doing, right? Because we've been brought up hard, haven't we? Old school, right? But I stuck by my son. I didn't know what it was, and when they labelled him at 18, it's schizophrenia, it's OCD, take a pill. I said over my dead body. That's the thing. What us as parents do is settle. We settle for the tablet, the pill, to solve the problem. But what I did, Mum knows best, what I did was I took my son back in time. I sat down with him. And the reason why I sat down with him is because
Sorry, I have to say, the librarian has asked me that you are already over half hour, so there's not going to be much time for chat, so if you'd like to finish your point, and then everyone has to leave as soon as possible.
Well, just quickly,